She's still laughing.
That's so funny. Welcome to 5 Lemons Left. We're the real stuff, the lemons making lemonade. So pucker up, because we're going to be discussing our life's lessons and the nitty-gritty details of our spiritual journeys.
Hey y'all, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Drusilla.
I'm Melissa.
Hello, this is Morgan.
And I'm Penny. Welcome to our podcast today.
Oh my goodness. Welcome back to 5 Lemons Laughing. We're just 3 lemons today. Drusilla and Amanda can't be with us today. So the 3 of us are going to try to hold down the fort. Thanks for being with us. Today we're talking about the art of letting go. So are you holding on too tight? Are you trying to force life to go your way? Is there more freedom in letting go? That's what we're talking about today, the balance between surrender and control. So what if releasing your grip could actually bring more peace than holding on ever did? So let's dive in, ladies. So who here has ever tried to surrender something to your higher self or to God or the universe, but you kept checking back every 10 minutes just to see if it's been handled yet?
Yeah, I have. It takes practice not to do that. I think that's like a natural thing, most of us do. I do it.
Absolutely.
And I'm really trying to get myself not to do it. And I think I have been really doing it a lot this week because I do run a small company, and it's really hard to make changes and make the right decisions and balance everything that's going on and not feel like you have to be in control. So how do I do this? How do I surrender some of it?
Mm-hmm.
I just have to keep reminding myself over and over, but I go back and check.
Yeah.
Check my numbers, check my employees, check my inventory over and over. So, I'd love some help on how to let it go. I know that when I sit in stillness, when I get quiet, when I get peaceful, when I do my spiritual practices, I can calm myself and right myself. But it is kind of well, how can I completely surrender it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the $1 million question, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or however many millions your company is worth. Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good question. I've been working on sorting that out in my own head as a business owner as well, because I would prefer to be all spiritual all the time. and then, I'm the boss.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just going to say it, and it's my money that's on the line.
Are you really the boss, Penny?
Well, I do own the company.
Well, what if God is the boss?
Oh, God, yeah. See, I forget that all the time.
Yep.
Well, let me ask you both this. Is there any area in your life where you have been successful at giving up control of a situation?
Yes. And in fact, recently I've been really successful at giving up some parts of control of my company, and it worked out really great. And then I do that. I went back and grabbed it all again. We know someone, a teacher of ours, Jennifer Hadley, who says she puts her problems on the altar, and then the challenge is leaving them there and not going and getting them again. And that's what I feel like I've done, is I've gone and I had this great experience where I let a lot go and our income went up, and then, there's always little bumps in the road and challenges and like pivoting and rearranging how you do things. And then I tend to like gather it all back up. So yes, I have had that experience. And I also think that I get really down on myself when I can't be perfect with that too.
Like spiritual shaming?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that too.
Mm-hmm. like all this work that I've done, and I am not perfect at it yet.
And that's why it's a spiritual practice.
Yes.
Yeah, I do have to say though, this weekend, actually, it was this weekend, both times was this weekend. I decided that I was just going to be happy with whatever was going on. And I tend to make myself really busy, and I've got a lot to get done. And I needed to pick my daughter and her husband up at the airport. And so I had like 3 or 4 things to do on my way there. And the joke with me is that I'm one stop Penny, but it's really like 10 stops Penny. And it's probably not a very kind joke. But and I'm always late for picking people up at the airport because I'm doing so much, right? So as I was driving to San Jose, I had to go to the San Francisco airport, which is another, almost an hour down the road. I had these things that I wanted to get done in San Jose before I left for San Francisco. And I was driving along and I had my whole plan, and I got this intuitive hit. No, go to Whole Foods first and get that done. It's right on the way. Go do that. And then I'm driving to the next stop and didn't get anything. So I went and did that. And it was very quick. I parked in like 2-minute parking and got in and out within 5 minutes. And that was great. So then I was on for the last task I needed to do. And I knew it was going to take the most time. And if I did that, I would be late for San Francisco to pick them up. And I'm driving down the road thinking, oh shit, should I just put it off? Should I just go to San Francisco? I think you should probably go to San Francisco, Penny. And then I got the hit, just go to San Francisco. What I had to do was at the airport anyway, renew my TSA pre-check. And I got the hit, why don't you just do it at the San Francisco airport, Penny? You have to be there anyway. And I didn't even consider that, honestly. And I knew I was going to the San Francisco airport. How funny is that? I thought I had to stop at the San Jose airport and do it because I'm very familiar with that airport. But no, I decided, and then I did it. And I was there and ready to go when they were ready, when they had their luggage. So it's just really, I don't know if that's letting go, but it is letting go. I was letting go of how I thought that all these tasks should be done. And they got done. And it was, and I just listened for the guidance. That's my goal this year, is to listen to the guidance more and then take action on it versus going, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I think you gave me an answer.
Oh, tell me.
Yeah. I just went, it's the outcome that I'm attached to. And I have to do X, Y, and Z because I have to have this outcome that I've, put everything on the line for. So, I think when I stay in the present and I just kind of like do the task ahead of me, I don't get so caught up in having to control everything, because I don't have to control everything to get to a certain outcome. I can let it unfold. So, I think that's what's been really hard for me, just creating a lot of anxiety for me in my company right now, is that I am not letting things unfold. I have a date I'm moving out of the country. And so everything's now like, I got to get her all done, So, yeah. Hope that.
What if you didn't get it all done before you moved?
Yeah, right. Nothing. I could do it when I'm over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's easy.
Totally. And I totally relate to that, because when we moved to Costa Rica and then we moved back to Costa Rica, had a super long to-do list. And it's like, the to-do list is super long, but it doesn't have to be stressful. Like, why do we put that extra burden of it's going to be hard, it's going to be stressful, it all falls on me? And what I'm noticing is that sometimes, I am a to-do list maker. Some people don't think that's very spiritual, but it works for my personality type. It's kind of necessary for my personality. But what I notice is that I still check in with what I'm feeling energetically aligned with at the moment. So if I have 4 or 5 things on my to-do list for the day, I'll carry forward endlessly an item if I'm not feeling aligned for it on that day. And then some days it gets crossed off the list anyway, because John Mark takes care of it or somebody else takes care of it. That happened today. John Mark I have some of his music stuff on my to-do list too. And he took care of something that I've been carrying forward for a few weeks. So yeah, it's like we can make it stressful if we want to.
Yes.
We can just do the next thing that we are energetically aligned with and trust those little hits that you get, like Penny said.
And you also said something about an expectation of this is going to be hard. This is going to be, like I'm really trying to stay out of that with our move, like, and just know it's all going to come together, and to not dwell in that place of this is going to be hard.
Yeah.
I remember the very first year that it would have been Morgan and I were the facilitators of our mastery circle in Masterful Living with Jennifer Hadley. And I think it was before you joined us, Melissa, but Amanda, I would constantly say something, oh, this is really hard, or something, blah, blah, blah. And Amanda said, just say it's with everything is going to happen with ease and grace. And you have all the time you need to get it done. And I just went, oh, wow. Thank you for that, Amanda.
Yeah.
And it stuck with me. I mean, that was 5 years ago. And that has always stuck with me. I don't always remember it, but it has stuck with me. Things can be easy. And I have all the time because, time's not real anyway. Put it in air quotes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and and you alluded to this earlier, Melissa, but I'm just going to spell it out in no uncertain terms. When we're trying to control an outcome, we're attaching to an outcome, and all attachment causes suffering. So, one simple thing that I like, that I think I learned from Jennifer Hadley, the Course in Miracles teacher that we've all studied with, is, try praying for this or something better. Like have an outcome in mind that you'd like.
I have this on my computer.
Yeah. Read it, Penny. What does it say?
This or something better. I have it right on my computer. Yeah. It's one of my little Post-its. I guess I'll use that as one of our Post-its today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, Morgan, I couldn't help it.
I know. I love that. I love the synchronicity that is one that stood out for you too. I mean, it's just and another thing that we've learned over the years is definitely have a vision of what you'd like to experience. Definitely make that vision board, write out those goals, and then let them go. Place them on the altar. It's the grasping, because what you're really trying to get when you have a vision or you have a goal is the feeling underneath it. So if you attach to the vision unfolding exactly as you have it in your mind, then you're pinching off an infinite number of possible outcomes that could be this or something better.
Yeah.
And that rigid attachment, it's like that magnetic thing that happens when magnets push each other away instead of locking into place. So.
And that's what I was thinking actually on my walk this morning. I was like, the more I orchestrate everything and attach myself to this outcome that I want, it's just so playing small because it feels so much like I'm contracting and constricting rather than opening up and allowing. So I do know that I can still take one foot, one step next, and still be allowing for something better, this or something better. It's a hard, I won't say that. It's
way to catch yourself, Melissa.
Thanks.
Whenever you hear the word hard, what word are you going to substitute for it?
Easy? You mean it's the opposite?
Easy button.
I'm serious.
The easy button.
Do you have one of the Staples easy buttons?
No. Do they still make those?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, yes, this could actually be easy if I'm not just holding on, and it does feel like kinking a hose. It doesn't allow the flow or other ideas or greater ideas to come through.
Yeah, I think it's probably a good idea just to define some of the words that we're saying here, like control, surrender, letting go, and the illusion of control. So control is when we have the belief that we must manage, fix, or force outcomes to feel secure, to feel successful or worthy, or that you can easily move to Greece once you have all this stuff done. It stems from fear. It really does. And what is the whole purpose of us all being together is to operate from a place of love. And that's where surrender comes in, because when we surrender, it's that willingness to release attachment to the outcomes. Like when I was going to the airport, I had all these things I needed to get done because it was so important. And I surrendered to the fact that, okay, maybe I'm going to have to take some of them off my plate. And then, boop, higher power popped in and said, no, you can do it all, Penny. You can do it. just go to the San Francisco airport, So if I can release the attachment to how I think that the outcomes should be, that's surrender. And just know that my higher power, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, is really the greater wisdom that's going to unfold. It's going to unfold the way it's supposed to unfold at that point. And the interesting thing is that the definition that we looked up, it says surrender isn't passive. It's an active choice to let go of struggle and allow flow. So it's an active choice. I'm going to just say that again. It's an active choice to let go of struggle and allow flow.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's letting go and the illusion of control. So letting go is just really the practice of releasing what we cannot change or force into being. So we just let it go. It invites the peace by shifting us.
Well, that makes
from external to internal.
David Hawkins, power versus force, and letting go. Like those are a lot of his words. If you want to read more about, well, how the heck do I do this? You could dive into one of David Hawkins' books, but it still feels a little bit of an abstract concept. Like, I mean, do you just say, okay, I'm letting this go? Like, and surrender, you say it's active, but like, what does that look like? You know what I'm saying? I agree with you that it's active, but like, it still feels ambiguous. Like, how do I surrender it? How do I practice letting go?
Well, I think that what I did on Saturday is the how. I just said, okay, these are my 3 things I want to get done. And I need to be to the airport by 2:00. And I didn't leave the house till 12:30. And it was over an hour drive. So, I mean, so for me, it was just making the decision, and I was just going to say to turn my will and my life over to the care of my higher power. But I really didn't. But I kind of did. Halfways, I would say I did. But I think then eventually I fully did because I was able to hear that still small voice that said, hey, just do it at the San Francisco airport. And I never heard that. I never even thought of it. Yeah. And so, I don't know. Did that answer the question, Morgan?
I think so. And I thought about Linda Soto, one of our dear friends' stories that she has shared with us before, about one time she had a lot of stuff going on in her personal life, maybe like sick and ailing parents, sick partner, and all of that, combined to also create some financial strain. And then her water heater went out and she was, caretaking for several loved ones. And she said that she just said, like, her prayer was something like, I just can't deal with this. I'm giving this to you, Holy Spirit. And it was kind of said in a complete state of just like, I give up. But she did it. She was like, I'm just not dealing with this. I'm letting you deal with this. And the next day, one of her friends called her out of the blue and said, we have a hot water heater that's been sitting on our porch for several months. We accidentally ordered the wrong size. We can't return it. Something told me to check in with you and see if you would like it. And within like a matter of days, she had a new free water heater that was like the exact thing that she needed. So that's another demonstration of how what that can look like and how to practice it. It can be a despairing, giving up prayer to the universe. Like, you got to deal with this for me because I can't. I don't even know how.
Well, and I know that I love that story, by the way, Morgan. And that's a miracle. And that happens all the time, right? When you let go. And I do know that when I get very quiet and sit in stillness and peace, that that's when ideas, like the best ideas, come to me. And things I never thought of when I'm like trying to figure it all out. So just like Course in Miracles lessons 34 says, I could see peace instead of this.
One of my favorites.
Yes. And I have been saying that today because I know that's true. And I know that I don't have to be in conflict. And I also know that when I seek peace over everything else, then that does open up every part of me for new direction. So maybe this is all about reminding myself of what I already know. And yes, and there's a lot of fear I have. So I think that is feeding. Well, that's been a pattern of habit of mine, is having fear and then needing control to make the fear go away. So
what's the fear?
Does that work?
No, it doesn't work. This creates more. And the fear is, it's just
You'll
that.
be a bag lady on the street.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't go that far, but it is close to that. It's like, oh, shoot, everything's going to fall apart.
Mm.
Um,
And what
and-
happens if it did?
I would just reinvent myself, I guess. I would.
Mhm.
I'm already doing that, and I'm doing something different. I think it's really, for me, a lot of habit. A lot of when I like the world starts moving under my feet, I go into what I've always thought. That
Mhm.
my ego has always thought this is what I do to get stabilized again.
If A happens, then B kicks in.
Yes.
Do you find yourself catching and interrupting
Yeah.
that pattern more quickly than you
Yes.
used to?
I
Yeah.
think that is probably the title of this podcast.
The
Yeah.
art of letting go.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. And it's we
is
talk
an
about this a lot. It comes quicker now. So
Yeah.
instead of like months and weeks of sitting in this kind of yucky stuff, it's just been a couple days.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and so let's look at another example, because I was just thinking, like, what does Greece represent to you?
Well, a dream that I've always had of living abroad. So it is a bit of following my heart and following my dreams, and a lot of freedom. I know I have freedom already, but a lot of free time, let's say,
Mhm.
to do what I really want to do. And I have that in progress. And part of the stuff with my company is I'm trying to get things taken care of so it is off my plate. So I can't go and do the stuff that I really want to.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And I was just thinking about how a couple of weeks ago, out of the blue, your friend invited you for an all expenses paid trip to Dubai.
Yeah.
So if we are controlling and forcing, then we're not open and receptive to those types of opportunities. So I've heard you say over and over again that you'd like to be a thought leader and a speaker, teacher, things like this. Like, what if an opportunity to move to some other country presented itself that allowed you to slide right into that role that you have been envisioning? Would that be a failure of your dream?
No, not not at all. But the word failure definitely hit a button. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like if I don't get everything totally straightened out with my company, is that going to be a failure? Am I going to be a failure? And so I still have some of that in there. It's not
Mhm.
necessarily which country I'm going to, but yes, so some of
I
it's in
just
there.
have to share with you. So, one of the presuppositions that I, as a coach, operate under is this one: there is no such thing as failure. It's only feedback.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
I love that.
So, when you think of that word failure,
Replace it.
it's just feedback.
Yeah.
We put so much meaning behind words, don't we?
Yes.
It's
And
just
words are
like
so powerful. So if you can make those little
powerful.
substitutions, like Melissa did when she called herself saying that something was going to be hard, like those are
Mhm.
huge progresses,
Right.
huge points of progress.
Yeah, you need to get that elastic band on your wrist, and every time you say hard,
Yes. Worked before.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Mm.
I'm like, I think I needed this coaching session. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking too of another tool that we practiced together as a group was from that book, Parallel Universes of Self, that we are reading separately in our Abundance Book Club. But it talks about scripting your day from the vantage point of the end of the day, but you do it at the beginning of the day. So you're using past tense language as you journal about the type of day you'd like to have and the types of things that you'd like to experience or feel. And you use past tense language. Like, so for example, I made so much progress in, the things I need to get done for my business before we moved to Greece. I got a phone call from a friend that I haven't heard from in a long time that I've been wanting to catch up with. I checked my bank balance and there was like $10,000 extra dollars in there than I thought there was. So it's
I purchased my plane tickets.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a great practice, I think, for kind of visioning what we'd like, and it helps kind of get our energy congruent with that which we'd like. But you're also not expecting things to go exactly like that. You'll find that a lot of the things do like happen that way. And, some of them may not, but it's like the point is you're getting closer and closer to the alignment of that which you'd like to experience, but not to attach to it happening that way. So I don't know. I think
I love that practice, Morgan. And it just made me realize what I'm doing. And that is, so I'm just in the how it's going to happen. I'm not allowing for the universe to give me how it's going to happen. So I have exactly what you just talked about. I have written out like a kind of a past thought about how all this is going down, or it's already happened, right? Like a little script about it, not how it's happened, but what has happened. And right now, my control is in the how it's happening. And that's where I have to let it go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think when we live in the how, then we are cutting ourselves out from divine guidance. Yeah.
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 What did they say? The how is none of our business.
No, I know. I think, did we just read that in A Course in Miracles this week? I think in the lessons, something along the lines of it is, the how is not our business, and that like, let the universe do their job.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that example with us, because I think it's super relatable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really.
Penny,
I think the same thing with kids. Like, I think it's to let go of kids, and how they're going to do things, how they're growing up, how they're living their lessons.
Mm-hmm. Or any other person that we're in relationship with, wanting to control their behavior. And I mean, like, I've talked about my history with John Mark and his drinking, and wanting to shake him out of that and control him and get him to stop drinking. And, in all of those cases, we're making what is happening wrong. And it's never wrong, no matter what it looks like on the surface.
It's just feedback. I used to throw pillows down for my kids all the time, because like if they fell, I wanted to make sure they never got hurt. So I'd throw the pillows out in front of them, right? Figuratively. And so then when I really started my 12-step journey, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, I really got it loud and clear that it's not up to me I'm actually harming them by not letting them have the experiences that they would have if they fell and got hurt, because that's what develops their character, I guess. And so I had to go out and pick up all those pillows all over the world.
Yeah. We reference it all the time, but it's the let them theory. I mean, it's just like my dog who keeps trying to escape and run into traffic. Like, I guess I just gotta let her.
Don't let him. Please don't let him.
Don't let her. There are some responsibilities to Morgan.
Penny, you were going to share the tense and relax meditation.
Yeah. So I'm working with Positive Intelligence, PQ, the PQ program, and they have these sessions where so you want to get out of your negative thinking into your more positive thinking. And so negative is our saboteurs. Like one of our saboteurs is controller or judge. And when the controller and judge is in charge, it's really hard to be in our more wiser, loving self. So there's these practices to help you get into your sage powers or your wiser self. And one of them is called Tense and Relax. And it's my very, 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 very favorite one. And so I just thought we would just do like a couple of minutes of Tense and Relax. And so it's like a little meditation, because you're going to put your head over your heart and your heart over your hips. And if you can, put your feet on the floor if that works for you. And then close your eyes. And be careful not to hurt yourself. I don't want you to hurt yourself while you do this, but I want you to tense up all the muscles in your body. So tense up your neck, your shoulders, your face, your chin, your stomach, your chest, your buttocks, your thighs. You really tense them up. I actually really tense up. Squeeze your fists, squeeze your toes, tense up your thighs, your calves, everything. Just really tense it up and really feel how that tensed up, controlling, gonna get her done, how it feels, and just keep holding it there, keep holding it there. And now relax it. Just let it all go. Let it all go. And now just feel how this more relaxed state feels. How you just relax into this moment and pay attention to the rising and the falling of your chest or stomach as you breathe in and out. And just notice how different it is to live in a more relaxed, surrendering state than living in that tensed up, holding on to control state. So when you're ready, you can come back to the room. And so anytime you feel like you need to control, you can just tense up and go, I let it go. And then just let it go. And that's just like a visual. If you need to feel it in order to, a lot of times we need that somatic experience to be able to release what's bothering us. So, yeah. How'd that work for you, ladies?
Wonderful, always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
So
I forget
I
about that one, so thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's a tool that works for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, Melissa, what is one teeny tiny specific thing about your move or about your company that you're particularly feeling that you need to control right now? Like break it down to a small piece.
I think the plan for the rest of this year and next year.
Okay.
What did you say?
The plan?
You're going to have a plan for this year and next year?
So that's what are you saying, Morgan, that's what I'm controlling?
Yeah. What's one piece of the puzzle that you feel like you have to control?
Okay. I'm sorry. I must have had a little brain fart there. And
And when you say the plan, you mean like whether to sell the company or hire a manager or
Yes.
okay. So, and how much of your bandwidth do you spend like worrying about this issue or thinking about this?
Right now, it's been 90, 85, 90%, like all the time.
So what are you going to do the next time a thought comes into your mind about this issue? What's a tool, one of the tools that we talked about, or something totally different, just like checking in, like the next time you find yourself worrying about the future of your business and what's going to become of it? What's a practice or a tool that you can use?
I think I'm going to remind myself that I do not need to figure out the why, and probably ground myself in silence and stillness. And also I like the idea of reading what I've already written about, like already being there and all the results that I have and all the feelings that I have being there. And then really reminding myself I don't have to figure out how it's going to happen.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And what I love is that we are invited, Course in Miracles invites us to like test this out. If it feels weird to give something to Holy Spirit or give it to the universe to handle and it feels irresponsible or, test it out, test these things out. Like, I mean, you have to start somewhere. Like you have to, you have to build your faith, and there's no sin in just practicing it or testing God or whatever, as some religions might have you believe. You don't have to just take it on faith.
it's beautiful, Morgan.
Thank you, Morgan.
Just start, right?
Yes.
Just start. Yeah. Well, do we feel complete with this talk today, or is there anything else that anybody would like to share?
I feel complete.
I feel complete.
Yeah, and Melissa, I just see it so much ease and grace coming into your life after this podcast recording today, because everything's going to be easy now. But if it's not, you have us.
Thankfully.
Remember, because it's this or something better, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this or something better. That's what's coming for all of us. Because when we surrender, doing my little post-its, it equals releasing attachment to specific outcomes. So it's going to be grease or something better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I wasn't quite sure how to write this one out, but I loved when you talked about this, Morgan, like getting, or Melissa, I can't remember which one, but getting my energy in alignment with what I would like to experience helps me tremendously to be able to shift into the, I guess, Catherine Edward Thomas talks about the positive possible future. And so we want to live from that positive possible future back to today. And so all the things that come into alignment to make that happen is when that happens, right?
Can you say that in the positive
Possible future. Yeah. That's what we all want.
Mhm.
Yep. This or something better, even more positive. So we'll just close this puppy down then if you guys are ready. Okay. So thank you so much for joining us. If you're looking for ways to deepen this work, you can visit our website, fivelemonslaughing.com, five spelled out. And you can check out our squeeze. We recently put up a new squeeze called the full moon meditation ceremony ritual. I can't quite remember the exact word. And there's a guided meditation, there's some journaling exercises, and there's so much more to support you on your journey. There's 2 weeks of prompts as we prepare for the new moon. And so go check that out. It's also in our podcast recordings too. You can see it all there. It's really, really a beautiful, beautiful meditation that Morgan, Amanda, and Drusilla did. And then next week, our topic is going to be, I don't know if your kids ever said this to you, but if you, or anybody, when you've been on a road trip, are we there yet? I mean, like, are we there yet? So we're going to unpack that. It's the trap of chasing our spiritual growth. Like, yeah. I don't know how many times I thought, God, when am I going to get it? And yeah, it's like 2 steps forward and a half a step back, and kind of gets frustrated. We're going to unpack that next week. And yeah, if this episode spoke to you, the best way to support us is by liking, sharing, or subscribing to our feed. It truly helps more people find this work, and we're so grateful for your support. If someone in your life could benefit from this conversation, please pass this along to them. Your kindness and connection makes all the difference. And we really, really love you and thank you for being part of our journey. So with that, you all have a beautiful rest of your week. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.